What's your advice to men who want to be good fathers, but they
Yeah.
What's your advice to that man? You can't see.
You already know what it is, man. This is Fred with the I Say That to Say This podcast, brought to you by M3S3. Appreciate you pulling up to check out this new episode. But listen, to help this channel grow, make sure you like, make sure you comment, and make sure you subscribe.
And don't forget, the members get exclusive content.
You already know. Hope you enjoy the show.
All right, guys, what's up? Welcome back to I Say That to Say This podcast. My name is Ashley. I'll be your host today. Today, I am here with two lovely guests. Mostly known for his role in Straight Outta Compton, where he played the role Eazy-E, and Jason Mitchell, everybody.
Yeah, and I brought with me today my guy, Gene Calloway.
What's going on?
Yes, Lord.
Nice to meet you guys. I'm very happy to have you guys here. Unfortunately, our host could not be here today, Fred. He had a death in the family, so he had to run off to a funeral. Rest in peace to his aunt, Jean.
Oh, wow.
And also, Mike couldn't be here with us as well. So I'm running the show today, guys.
Hey.
Yay.
Yeah, good to have you.
Bear with me.
No,
yeah, man. Shout out to them as well, man. Oof,
yeah.
Death in the family. It's never easy.
Yeah. It's been a rough day, but we're here. I know you guys have a lot to talk about and promote. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys about that and get to know a little bit more about what's going on with that whole project.
Okay.
But the first thing I want to ask you is, how did you guys meet? How did this business journey begin for you guys?
You know, it's funny because
such a good story.
I actually met Gene at a car wash, right? It was like a car wash like 5 minutes from my house. He's in one of the neighboring communities to mine, and he has a new Escalade, right? So as he's pulling in, I'm like, oh, this is the joint right here. So he jumps out of the car, and I ask him about his car, but they had a McLaren, like a couple of rows over. So I'm like, asking him about his Escalade, and I guess he's looking at me, and he's like, yo, is that your McLaren? And we just died laughing, because my favorite kind of jokes are race jokes, you know what I mean? So so once I found out, I was like, oh yeah, he's that guy, you know what I mean? We just locked in immediately, man. We've been like two peas in a pod since.
That's good. So what sparked up the venture that you guys got going? I know you have an agrihood, right? That's what it's called, an agrihood, that you guys are presenting to veterans, correct?
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about that.
So the program that we're putting together, the agrihood, what we want to do is we want to take veterans that have PTSD and they're having a hard time transitioning from the military life to civilian life. And instead of popping them full of pills, like they've got going on, where there's a big pandemic with that going on right now, we want to get them away from that, and we want to kind of make a holistic approach with it. And we're going to do that through farming, through ranching, through equine therapy. We're building 10 houses. So for 1 year, we're going to have 10 vets, one in each house. They're going to have a little chicken coop with 4 chickens. So they get their eggs from their own chickens.
So each of them have?
Each house. So figure like an 800 square foot studio apartment, right?
Okay.
They'll each have about a half an acre apiece, and they'll have their own little chicken coop and then their own little 10 by 10 greenhouse. And then we'll have a community garden that's about 1.5 acres or 2 acres that they get to tend to together as a team. Because it's important for those guys to still maintain that unity and that team play that they have, in the military.
Right.
That's one of the hardest things with the vets that we've spoken to transition out of. Is we've been a team for 4 years, man, and you wake up one morning when you're discharged and it's like, what
do I do today?
Yeah, Jason's in a different state. Like, what do I do today?
Yeah, no, it's completely difficult. And I don't think that the government or, I don't think that they do enough for our vets that served our country. And it's a shame. It's very sad. So I want to thank you guys for doing this, to be honest with you.
Sure.
100%. It's from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate the work you guys put in for that. So I have 1,000 questions.
Ask away.
Go for it.
Okay, so you got 10 vets, right? And so we're starting off with these 10, and they each have their own chickens. And so who's training them how to do the farm work and stuff? No.
Yeah.
This man has learned so much. I'm so proud.
Well, who taught him?
I mean, he learned a little bit of stuff from me.
This guy right here.
You take that part over, man. I'm so excited for you to be able to teach people how to do this. I love
that's
teaching
dope.
people how to do stuff, and then when they can turn around and teach other people how to do it, like that's when you know you succeeded, right?
Right. That's a
Yeah. Because I mean, to be honest, that's the intimidating factor in it, right? Like, where do I start? What do I do? How do I make sure I don't mess it up? And you know, we're not only walking them through it, but we're compiling that with my world a little bit, you know, and we're gonna put some production around that, you know, and build an entire show around it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's gonna be cool, you know. But we're working on this sustainable farming, right? And for those who aren't familiar with an agri-hood, we're just throwing that out there like everybody knows what it is. It's a residential neighborhood that's incorporating farm to table living, obviously agriculture, you know, and sustainable farming, all, you know, to the regular person's life, you know what I mean? So they have what you call rotation, which is I guess, for lack of a better term, sort of letting nature do its thing. You know what I mean? Because of course now we have technology and all this farm equipment that allows us to, I guess,
like eliminate the worker.
Well, I guess to speed the process up a little bit and make it, you know, a little bit more efficient. You know what I mean? Because farming isn't getting any easier. You know what I mean? But like, for instance, right, if you have a huge hay bale and you roll that hay bale out and you have cows on both sides, they're obviously going to eat and they're going to use the bathroom, right? And they're going to make cow patties. And then the flies come to the cow patties, and they...
Is that what it's called? Cow patties?
Yeah.
Cow patties.
Such
Yeah.
good term.
You know,
You're learning something.
Better than what I would have called it.
yeah, you know, and
What would you have called them?
right, exactly, yeah. Let's hear this.
I think we all know what I would have called it.
The shit. No,
This is some bullshit.
right. Literally. No, but you know, the flies come, obviously the bugs, and they put their babies in there, you know what I mean? So you got maggots and all kind of larvae and all that, right? And then you have the chickens that come and they eat all the bugs out of that, and they spread that cow patty from what might be, you know, 9 inches around or a foot around into 9 feet or to 10 feet, you know, and then they start to use the bathroom in there.
It becomes just a whole mess.
Yeah, their poop
Literally
is
a
like
whole shit
full
show.
of nitrogen now, you know, and all of this is really good for the plants. So it's like this circle of life that's happening naturally, you know, and that's a big part of sustainable farming. But we're gonna be walking them through all of that, you know. It's the fun part about
So it's
it.
just you two.
Yeah,
So
both
far.
of us
You two
together.
teaching
So
them.
far,
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
And these guys have no experience with farming whatsoever.
Some might have a little bit of experience, you know. I mean, like almost everybody has had a flower bed in their front yard, right, that they had to take care of. It's easier than what people might think. People get intimidated by it, like, oh my God, I've never gardened before, I've never done this before, and they don't do it because they don't want to mess it up. It's just like anything else. The first time you do it, you're going to mess up, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but you learn from your mistakes and you go at it again, and before you know it, you've become efficient
Right.
at anything that you've done. That's any walk of life, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
I feel like it'll also be like a peaceful, calming environment for them. You know, something different.
Absolutely.
Something
Absolutely.
therapeutic, honestly.
And you
Yeah, and
hit
that's
the
the
nail
point.
right on the head. That's exactly what it's there for.
Yeah.
So like the counselor that we have on site, instead of, you know, sitting on the couch and sitting in a chair, they're going to do therapy sessions outside, you know, in the
Exactly.
garden, you
Instead
know,
of just
or in the
sitting there
chicken
with your
coop.
hands behind your head.
Yeah.
Like, what am I not gonna tell this person
Yeah,
today?
which
You
they
know what I
probably
mean?
have experienced 20,000 times throughout, you know, the
Yeah.
military service.
Exactly. Exactly.
Definitely different. So
Exactly.
you guys have professionals, you know, who will be there.
No, that'll be us
giving-
too.
You guys are going to be the
I was like, whoa, wait a second.
do it all, huh?
I missed that. I missed the update to that script,
Yeah, we're gonna
Jason.
have crisis therapists and, you know, all kinds of people who are licensed to do this. You know what I mean? But I think more than anything, we're starting to create this community that's making it okay to be able to talk about your problems and to disarm them, you know. And it's not like we're trying to weasel our way into their personal business, but a lot of times as men especially, we're just trained at talking about our feelings and talking about the way we feel about things or things that might have hurt us or that make us afraid or whatever, just slowly chip away at your masculinity. You know what I mean? So you end up hiding those things from your friends, from your family, and all of that, and you internalize so much of it, and before you know it, you're overindulging. You know, you're getting angry for no reason. You're finding it hard to sleep. All of these different things. You know, so you know, our hope is that putting bare hands and bare feet into things, you know, allow people to open up a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, instead of having a AA meeting with a bunch of people sitting around, you know, hi Jennifer, you know what I mean? Instead of going through that process, we're all in this greenhouse together, actually building and actually growing, you know, and you can throw your problems into the compost pile.
Yeah, and it's interesting how you say actually building and actually growing. Are you guys going to be growing crops too?
Absolutely.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
I know the fulfilling feeling of like planting a seed and actually watching it grow, and you're like, "Wow, I did that! It didn't die."
Exactly.
But-
Exactly.
But do you think you think at the beginning will some of the crops maybe die?
Of course.
So,
Of course.
So then once they finally sprout, that'll be a fulfilling.
And that makes
moment
it
for
even
them.
more
Especially when
fulfilling.
it gives fruits and things that
Yeah.
you can eat. It's like the
Yeah.
little
Tell
things
you.
though, like of life. That is just like the natural cycle of life
Right.
there that we kind of take for granted because we just go to Publix and grab a lemon, an orange, and we don't see that process.
Right.
Which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's like, it's something that everybody needs, right? When we just talk about the food, the produce, the beef, you know, the chicken, all of this stuff that we're ingesting, it's really being taken for granted. You know what I mean? Outside of going down the rabbit hole of it not being great for you or how expensive it is to eat healthy, we just don't know how to feed ourselves. You know what I mean? I'm a grown man and I really just learned how to fish last year.
Oh, okay.
That's crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of mind-boggling when you see studies, like they just did one in Austin, and they were saying if the food supply was cut off, there was no way to get food to Austin, they would have 2 days of food. Like, what? A big city like that? 2 days worth of food. Like, we have to do better just as a people in general, you know what I mean? And we're outside watering our grass, watering these ornamental bushes that do absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
If anything, the rabbits are eating it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
having, you know, strawberries, blackberries, all of this stuff in your front yard it's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
You know, we need to be doing this for our communities, for
Definitely.
sure.
And so your ultimate goal with this project is to try and help these veterans not only transition back into civilian life, but maybe to help them, like you said, open up a little bit more,
And give them purpose.
give them purpose.
Give them purpose. You know, they've been fighting for our country and they've been completely like stripped down from who they are. Am I right? What do you think?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. You go in there as a 17, 18-year-old kid, you know, with what identity you've built at that point in time. And you go into the military and they're like, nope, we're going to rip all that out.
lose yourself.
And this is how you're going to be, right?
You
And they're going to use you for 4 years, 8 years, however long it is. And when you get out, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
well,
Right.
wait a second. You changed me coming in. You why don't you help me when I'm coming out? You know,
Yeah.
and that's where the statistic of 18 families a day deal with somebody in the military unaliving themselves and their family. 18 a day. You know, because they're not getting what they
astronomical
need.
That really is.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. And this transcends even further than the veterans. You know, like at my house, I ripped out all my shrubs, and I've got blackberries, blueberries, strawberries, peppers, and tomatoes in my front yard. And all the neighborhood kids will come ditch their bikes in my driveway, and they'll come up and pick some fruit off of it.
That's
Right.
And that's what I want, you know? And so I make sure and tell those kids, I'm like, well, tell your parents that they can plant one too. I'll help them.
Yeah.
You know, and they get so excited, you know, and then who's going to be the first one besides Mr. Gene's place that has the fruit in the front yard?
So
Exactly.
It's become like a competition.
Yeah, yeah. So
should be.
before you know it, the whole street, you know, now you've got kids, instead of eating candy bars and chips and the trash that they're eating right now, they're all outside on their bikes instead of inside on their video games. They're getting their hands dirty. They're getting grounded. You know, they're actually growing something, and they've got purpose themselves now
Yes.
too. You know,
Exactly.
so there's so many crossovers that this reaches into besides just our veterans. I mean, it's every single person in everyday life.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully it grows, and it gets bigger and better, 100%.
Absolutely. And it's people like you, or you guys, that I say that to say this, that are allowing us to come spread this message to people, because I don't know what I thought about farming before I met this guy. You know what I mean? But I definitely did not think that I'd be doing it for sure. Like, I wasn't even interested in the slightest way, but when you start seeing how good you can be to your own body, right? Like, I was in Poland for 3 months, and I had a little glory belly,
okay.
and I was proud of it.
We're also going to call it little. Yeah, go ahead.
I worked on it and I loved it, but I was there for a while, and I ate out the entire time. I probably ate out 3 or 4 times a day because their stuff is just so much cheaper, right? But I lost weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it started making me really look around and being like, wait, exactly. Like, what am I doing so different than I was in the US? Exactly.
When we make people fat.
Exactly. And we damn near working on what would you like, the blue meal or the green meal? You know what I mean? Like, take the pill and pop it in the microwave and it will be ready for you. You know what I mean? It's just, everything is a meal replacement and some sort of supplement and all of that. When in real life, I think God did his thing when he came up with the earth. Like, he definitely done his thing. Every piece of medicine, all the food, everything is right here already waiting on you.
Yeah, and then the most beautiful thing for me, an impressive thing, is it's like the food that keeps on giving, because these fruits have seeds in them. Not one seed, but multiple seeds. That's just like the biggest sign from God.
Exactly.
Saying, here, I give you an endless supply.
Exactly.
Use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true.
To me, fruits and vegetables are the most fascinating thing because of how it continues to produce and how it continues, to give.
Right. And hopefully, we can do that as well. Just continue to be fruitful. You know what I mean? Because the reality is, like, we planting trees and we will never sit under that shade. You know what I mean? That's the truth. That we're doing something that we may or may not, because I don't know, like, it's so gratifying to be able to help somebody do something. It's the biggest dopamine release, literally helping somebody else, so
it is.
We definitely getting something out of, seeing people smile and like, man, we interviewed these vets, right? And just to see them talk about their stories and interact with each other and putting their feet in the dirt and literally watching them change right before our eyes
you're doing God's
so
work.
Gratifying. Facts.
Honestly.
Facts.
Like, and not to get like spiritual, but to get spiritual, which I love to talk about. I feel like the purpose of life is to help one another. I feel like it is to do God's work in any way, shape, or form that you can, whether that be even through our careers. Like, we're all kind of given a passion and a purpose, and through those passions and purposes, we can help people, whether you're a lawyer, doctor, teacher, the obvious, but even if you're a comedian, laughter is one of God's medicines. You're a musician. Music is medicine, et cetera,
Yeah.
So I feel ultimately it all comes down to that. Our internal purpose is to help one another. We're here to serve God and to help each other. And what you guys are doing, it's just amazing.
I appreciate that.
So I'm very happy. So talk to me though. I have questions about. You're thinking of possibly turning this into some type of like a reality show, you said? If you don't want to elaborate, if you're not ready to talk about it,
follow doc. How
documentary
do we name
sounds
this?
better, right?
My manager's in the background over here. Shout out to my dog Corey.
He's like,
still your birthday, by the way. But what do you call it? Unscripted, follow doc, like
Unscripted series.
So like a documentary? Is it safe to say that? No, maybe.
Well, I mean, a documentary
series.
sort of has, to me, an end. You know what I mean? There's a place where it buttons, and with this, it's gonna be constant. It's gonna be something that lives on forever. Like basketball wise.
Never ends.
Half of them are not even married to athletes or basketball players. It's crazy.
Right.
I'm basketball neighbor, you know?
Yeah, I don't know what box to put it into. All I know is it's gonna be really cool seeing people transition in their lives.
And then, so do you guys already have your 10 veterans picked or not yet?
We don't. We've interviewed 2 for our pilots that are coming out on the 19th is when our first one drops.
Yeah.
There's no shortage. You know, that's
Right.
that's gonna be one of the hardest things for us is to pick the 10. You know, it's like, oh man, you have 1,000 to choose from.
Right.
You know, like
How are
the
you guys,
pressure
like,
to
promoting
pick.
it? Sorry.
Well, so with you, right?
Oh, okay, right.
That's how we're starting to promote it. And dude, I'm speaking way outside of my circle, so jump on in here
go
when I
for
start
it.
sinking.
No, I
right?
love it. I love it because you know one of the greatest things about this relationship is that it's like literally the definition of juxtaposition. You know what I mean? We are like night and day. No pun intended.
Yeah.
I know you're trying to hold it right now.
I got some sun this week, buddy.
Yeah, literally night and day. But it's so interesting to see like all of the things that we've picked up from each other. You know what I mean? He didn't know anything about TV and film. I didn't know anything about farming, but we're literally letting our worlds collide. You know what I mean? And let our differences bring each other up. You know what I mean? This is how you keep the boat buoyant. Everybody got a different job and everybody has a different task to sort of fulfill. But when you see that like the things that you're doing are starting to spill over, you know what I mean? And you're like, man, listen, I've been telling him since the day I met him. I'm like, bro, you need to be on TV. You know what I mean?
How long have you guys known each
It
other?
really has. So, year and a half?
Yeah.
Coming up on our 2-year anniversary's coming up.
Aww, what are we doing?
Yeah, right?
Who's getting you
Are you planning that or am I planning that? Yeah, well, so I mean, it's been a while, and for 6 months, I never even knew that he was an actor.
No.
I had no idea who the dude was. I
I
just
bet
knew.
you loved that, huh? That you
I do.
didn't know who you were?
I do because I mean people always like, I'm not gonna say they pretend, but they definitely make a habit of hiding the person that they actually are and showing you this person who they think you might really like and get along with. You know, and most of the time they just got some sort of angle. You know what I mean? They want something from you. They want to come to a premiere, whatever it may be. And none of that is bad. You know what I mean? Like I do have an interest in life, I guess. You know, but for me, it's really something that I love and that I'm passionate about. You know, so when I see people try to hustle it, or I see people really wanting to be famous, like it worries me. Like, dude, you cool? You know what I mean? In real life, like. So when you find somebody who is just genuine and they really just fuck with you because they fuck with you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like, it's something rare in my life,
Yeah,
you
it's
know, so I
right.
cherish it for
Yeah,
sure.
it's definitely rare, especially for, you know, people in your position, celebrities and stuff. It's very rare to meet someone who doesn't know who you are and you can actually have that genuine connection. And you guys have a really, really good bond. Like I can tell.
Oh, yeah.
You guys
Yes,
look
my
like
boy.
you laugh a lot together.
We
That's
laugh
all we do.
a lot.
That's all you do.
Oh my God, yeah.
See, that's
Yeah.
awesome. You guys.
That really is it. That's all we do.
Fact.
Just laugh
I
at
can
stupid
tell.
jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Facts.
lot of
Within
fun.
the first 5 minutes of meeting this dude, he had already threw out a race joke, which is my shit, you know? But it never gets old, you know what I mean? Like, he'll be like, I'm on my way to your house right now, and then send me a picture of him with like a watermelon with a seatbelt on it. Like, I'm on my way, you know what I mean? Which is fucking hilarious. Like,
Oh
you know,
my
you just
God.
gotta love it.
I still
You
have
gotta
that
love
picture.
it.
That's good. You guys
too.
have that
Pretty good.
chemistry going. So
Yeah.
So as far as the veterans, you guys are interviewing them. You said, right?
Yes.
That's how and you said you have like thousands.
Yeah, everybody we talk to is like, hey, my aunt, hey,
they're
my
endless,
brother.
pretty much. So I would assume they would be like knocking on your door with, you know, anxiousness to get on this, to
Right.
be a part of it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have people like me that really don't have no interest in being on camera and being a celebrity of any sort, you know. And then you can have other people that we really have to vet that are like they just want to be on there because they want their 15 minutes. you
Exactly.
know?
Exactly.
So they know off the bat that it's going to be filmed.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. We because it's a lot of red tape around mental health in general. You know what I mean? When people are actually going through the process, like they're very vulnerable. And I think just out of respect, you know what I mean? Because like we feed the homeless all the time, but we don't bring the cameras out for that shit. Because I mean, like, I don't want to get stripes off of your worst moment in your life. Like that's to me, that's super weird. You know, so we do want to get people who are as motivated as we are to let people see the process, because they're gonna have so many people living vicariously through them. You know, like the community that could potentially come together off of just seeing these 10 vets is, I mean, I can't even imagine.
Yeah,
I really can't even imagine.
You guys are like the only ones really doing anything
Which
like
is crazy. I don't understand that. We talk about it all the time. You know, you hear lots of people talking about doing stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you've never heard anything they were doing until this week, right? When we set this up.
Exactly.
So we've been doing lots of walking and not much talking, right? So now we've got everything set up. We've got our pilots ready to come out. So now we're ready to start showing everybody what we have going on.
Yeah.
And that's where you come into play, because we need all of his followers, you know, to subscribe to his stuff and to, I mean, you know, I got nothing on social media, and follow the journey and support us with the time just by watching. That's all we're asking. It's just a watch.
Right.
And that viewership is going to help us fund the project for what we have going with these guys and the
like
future
when you
project.
do that, man, you got to say ours. It's not mine. It's ours.
Well, yeah.
You got yourself a good one here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's a good dude.
That's my bro though. That's my bro, you know, and I feel like he's really humble about the impact. You know what I'm saying? Like when I went fishing last year, he brought me fishing. You know what I mean?
You don't say him?
Yeah. Like,
Hard to believe.
You know, but it was something that I think helped me get over an obstacle in my life. You know what I mean? Because between, you know, my own ups and downs in my career, and then COVID, and then the strike, and all of these different things, like, you know, these have been trying times, I think, for everybody in this business. You know, and at one point in time, I could say, all right, me and my kids could go somewhere and we could spend $1,000 every Friday if we want, and it don't matter, you know? But I started to sort of find an identity in being able to pay for things and to make sure my kids were having fun, and that was kind of my flex. You know, we could have pizza parties at school and we could do all of this, and then when you get to the point where you're like, damn, I'm not as financially fortunate as I was a couple of years ago. Now I'm having trouble figuring out what I'm supposed to do with my kids. And I'm not okay with just going to the park and creating some memories with them. But like, why not? You know, and that's what I got back. I gained the power back, just being a dad. Not the celebrity dad, not the famous dad, not the rich dad, but just being a father and being present. Like, I got all that just from going fishing.
That's awesome.
You know?
It's easy.
Yeah, it's the little things, you know, that we take for granted.
Exactly.
It's just the bonding, the time is what's most valuable, not the money, not the pizza, not the extravagant lunches and dinners, etc., toys, this, that, and the third.
Exactly.
You know?
It's the memories.
So you got that from fishing.
All of that from
I gotta
fishing.
go fishing.
Yeah. Obviously, you know, you got time to think. Who
wants to go fishing?
That's true. That's true. I hear that a lot from men, that there's a lot of thinking that goes on when you go fishing.
Absolutely. You know, spending time with yourself it's a necessity.
Is that going to be a part of the show too? Do you guys have like I know it's a farm, so
Yeah, so the
maybe
property
they
that we have
take
that
them
we're
out?
building it on is like 1.5 miles from one of the biggest marinas on Lake Texoma. So it's going to be in North Texas, like Texas-Oklahoma border. And we already have fishing guides that are like, I want to be a part of it. You know, I want to take these guys out. So that's going to be an opportunity for sure.
Yeah.
You know, and of course we'll make some kind of competition. You
Of
know,
course.
on everything. Everything's got to be competition.
Of course. And we be cooking, so we be probably gonna do some catch and cooks out there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
I
dope.
hope you cook them.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Right?
Lord.
Learn to make some sushi or something. Bring like a sushi chef on.
I don't know about the freshwater fish sushi. But,
Oh, see, I don't know. I don't know where the fishes come from. I just know they
saltwater fish we make sushi out of. But we'll fry the freshwater fish.
Okay, let's do the fry. Let's do the frying the fish.
Yeah, with some hush puppies and some French fries.
Right.
You know, and we'll make the sushi out of the yellowfin that we catch over here while we're in Miami, right?
Right. Sure.
But yeah, there'll be plenty of opportunities to do some of that kind of stuff, and anything that we can do to get people outside. You know, that's the main goal. Get them outside, get them to absorb some vitamin D. You know, get them mentally where they need to be. And you can't do that by popping pills that you're prescribed and sitting inside all day
Those
long.
pills, all they do is just ruin something else.
Well, it's
Facts.
well,
You
I'm
end up
sorry
with
you
a
took
short
this pill.
leg.
Yeah. Let me give you these two
limping out of
pills to
here,
get you
though.
off of this one pill,
Exactly.
right? And then let me give you this other pill to get you off. No, man.
They all have long-term effects too, you know?
They do.
Yeah,
They do.
exactly.
You know, and it's okay if you need 1 or 2 pills for some kind of serious medication, you know, medical issue that you have. But when you see these guys, like when I was doing some research for what we're going to do, I was watching some shows on YouTube, and I can't remember the name of it. But this one guy was taking like 18 pills a day.
That just doesn't sound healthy.
It's not. There's
Exactly.
zero chance that that's healthy.
Exactly.
You know?
And imagine how you feel psychologically, right? Because, I mean, studies show that the brain can heal the body just like it can kill the body. You know, and if you give somebody 18 pills a day to take, and some of those pills are probably, you know, take 1 or 2 by mouth twice a day. You never know. You know what I mean? And psychologically, that's making you feel crazy. Like something ain't right with you. You know what I mean? Because it's, oh man. It's
Yeah, we go on and on and on.
Yeah, it's like,
It's a
it's a
constant
rabbit hole. I'm
reminder.
trying not to get mad, kid.
Don't get mad. We want to see the passion.
You don't want to see me hangry.
Right? Right?
No, yeah, it's a constant reminder that they're not living a normal life, that their life is, I hate to say it, like jacked up, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I'm sitting
Yeah.
here taking 18 pills a day. This
Yeah.
is a constant reminder, as opposed to going outside and, you know, fresh, like, you know, running after the chickens and
Right.
nature's healing always.
It is.
You know,
It gives
like,
them purpose.
It's
Their
therapy.
purpose is to get up every day and make sure that their chickens are taken care of.
Yeah.
Get up every day and
sure
make
they
sure that your
name-
garden is tended
Yeah.
to.
Right.
Right.
Facts.
And then you're growing something that you're feeding people. You know. So I mean, how cool is it for me to pull
That
off
is.
some vegetables and go knock on your door and be like, "Bro, let's cook these up tonight."
Right.
You know.
Right.
Like my son. You know, we're in Destin the other week, and he wanted to go fish, you know, so we went fishing off the bank, you know, riding the surf, and I was like, bro, you're not going to catch anything, you know, but we're going to go fishing, right? Like the 4th cast in, he rips up this 19.5-inch redfish, you know, so I'm like, okay. He was more excited about this dadgum trip that we had to Florida. We had 30 of our family members. We rent a big beach house once a year, every year, and go out there. He was so excited to feed his family from this fish that he caught. And that's not just a 7-year-old kid that does that. That you get pride. We got cow. Not to give too much away, but we got cows now. And this man wakes up. He's like, "Hey, can we go check on the girls now?"
You know, that's awesome.
Yeah. So it
Straight
gives
up.
you so much purpose, and you just forget about everything that that you got going on in your life because you're outside tending to something that is probably not going to make it without your help.
There
Exactly.
really is something fulfilling though about feeding people. Like I'm a mother, I have 2 kids and a boyfriend. So I cook. And every time, you know, I cook, I'm Cuban, so I'm very, what do you call it? The cater. I cater a lot.
Yeah.
So I'll cook the whole meal and I serve everybody their plate and I'm like, okay, the dinner's ready. And I give them, and I see them just devour
He's just
the
sitting there like
food.
this.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody's like, this is so good. It's a fulfilling feeling. It's like, I did that. I fed my family.
That's right.
I cooked this raw meat, chopped it up,
Yeah.
seasoned it, fried it, and they
Right.
loved it. And it didn't taste
Yeah.
like that.
When the plates are empty, you know you nailed it.
Yeah.
Exactly. When everybody quiet.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah, it is. It's
I hear
fulfilling.
Yeah, and we cook all the time too. And the majority of the time, when the plates go out, we just watching people eat. I'm literally here to watch you eat. You know what I mean? Like I was a cook before when I was a starving artist, and it was my favorite thing in the world because I was an oyster shucker, right? And a lot of people don't really like oysters.
Okay.
So when you can prepare an oyster in a way that like anybody can enjoy. You literally watch their life change.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, bro, I didn't think I was gonna like this. You know what I mean? And it just watching that change in somebody is so dope. You know, being able to feed somebody's soul is dope. And like we were saying before, like, it's literally dope. Like, that dopamine release in your brain is better than drugs.
No, absolutely. 100%.
For sure.
So I want to switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
Right? And clearly I want to ask you a couple questions.
Okay.
About, first and foremost, your role as Eazy-E.
Okay.
In the movie Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah.
So I know you had to study his character a lot. I think you gained some weight too.
I did, yeah.
Was that
I had
the belly?
to.
Was that
No, this is a different one.
No, I was super slim. I gained weight and still was slim. Like, man, I think I had to eat like 3,700 calories a day or 4,700 calories, something like that. And I literally had to train myself how to eat that much food and put that much calories in my body.
The life of an actor, huh?
Yeah, it was like the first 3 or 4 days I just was throwing it up. I was like, oh my
Really?
God, like, bro,
Wow.
it was crazy. It was crazy. But it felt good though, because like we were at rehearsal one day. And, well, actually, it wasn't a rehearsal. It was like we were doing like the mock photos for like the cover of the album and all this different stuff. And at the time, Corey Hawkins, who played Dr. Dre, he had to gain some weight too. Mm-hmm. So they had him with like these pads on, right? And F. Gary Gray, the director, was like, I don't really know if I'm feeling these pads, whoop-de-whoop. So he was like, take the pads off him. And they took the pads off Corey or whatever, and I'm like sitting on top of the that iconic picture when he has the Eazy jersey on, and they're like sitting on top of the tracker. He goes, take those. I told y'all to take those pads off. Take the pads off of Jason. And he was like, he doesn't have any pads on. He was like, oh, you gained the weight. Okay, all right, bet. You know what I mean? It was a good moment. I was like, hell yeah, absolutely I did. Absolutely I did. Because man, they had us on Runyon Canyon, like making sure that we wasn't just getting sloppy fat while we was eating as well. It was like, man, it was crazy. We was boxing with a big stupid ass boxing coach. I'm talking about he was the swollest person I had ever seen in person. I was like, dude, like what are you eating? Like what are they feeding you? You know what I mean? But it was intense. It was a lot of work that went into that for sure.
One of the coolest things I think of you becoming playing that role was you got to meet Eazy-E's family, correct?
Yes.
Did that happen? Yes, that happened.
Yes, it happened.
How was that?
Interesting.
Yeah?
Very, very interesting. You know, because individually, everybody is cool. Everybody wants me to win. Everybody loves Eazy. Like, that was the easy part, right? But mind you, I'm so excited about what I'm doing that I'm just like reaching out to people on Facebook. I'm like trying to find every person that I can. Not really thinking about the fact that he got 9 children and 7 baby mamas.
Oh boy.
And they don't necessarily all get along with each other. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to get them all in one room. They're like, Jason, you trying to start some shit. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? It's like, all this like, oh, like, Lord, what did I do? What did I do? What did I sign up for? You know what I mean? But I think all in all, like, everybody spoke good into my life. Everybody was there. Everybody made set visits. You know what I mean? Everybody showed up to the premiere. Everybody kept it real professional. But I think it just caught everybody off guard that I was like, listen, we doing this as a family. Like, you know, let's put all our differences aside.
That's crazy.
Like, we doing this as a family. You know what I mean? So it was,
I'm sure
it was a wild ride, man. It was a lot of fun though. It was a lot of fun.
Did anybody like apply the pressure, like kind of like you better get this role right? Like
I'd have to say the atmosphere itself was like that, right? And the only thing that eased that a little bit was the fact that Eazy ain't here no more, right? But you got Dr. Dre who showed up every day. You got Ice Cube who showed up every day. Matter of fact, before Cube even started showing up, because he was finishing up, I want to say Ride Along with Kevin Hart, or Ride Along 2. They were finishing up that movie, and Cube had a PA with an iPad strapped to their chest, walking around set. It was like Cube head just floating around set, like while he wasn't there. Like he wanted to be there for everything, you know?
That's crazy.
Yeah, so the pressure was definitely there. And it was
that'll apply some pressure for sure.
Yeah, like we had to convince NWA that we was NWA with no costume. That's crazy. You know what I mean? Like being from New Orleans, like you know how hard it is to change your voice and then learn the songs only to learn how to mess up the songs on purpose. Like it was such a
that's crazy.
it was just thinking back to them days, like yo, how did we get through that? It was like basic training. For real, you know, like you working out one half of the day, the other half of the day you just performance. Like it was wild.
And so while studying him and stuff, what was the most interesting thing you found out about Eazy-E? Getting to know his family and everything, like did you discover anything that stood out to you?
That he masterminded every single thing that they did. I thought that was super interesting, you know, because for one, he had zero fear. You know, like he was the first person out here. Like I ain't saying calling women bitches and all of that is like a great thing, but like he had zero fear. You know what I mean? And to know that he had a plan behind all of that the entire time was crazy to me. You know what I mean? Like at one point in time, like when they invited him to come to the White House, all they knew was Eric Lynn Wright donated X amount of dollars to the state of California. He should be a Republican. So they invited him and Jerry Heller to the presidential luncheon. You know what I mean? And they really went to the White House. Like, can you imagine?
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like you masterminded that. Like to me, that's absolutely incredible. Like they went viral when viral was passing records from hand to hand, word of mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is impressive.
Yeah, he was an incredible person. And to know that, like, I mean, he drank, but he really didn't. He wasn't an overindulger. You know, he didn't smoke. He didn't do no drugs. Like none of that. He was just a mastermind. You know, and he was also somebody who, although you know he talked about this gangster life, never really. I don't think he ever really wanted it. You know, he had a cousin that was killed, and it made him, I guess, like the biggest drug dealer in his neighborhood after his cousin was killed. And him and the guy Laylaw from Above the Law, you know, who is actually portrayed in the film a little bit, he was starting to get his stuff from Laylaw, right? Who's a blood, and he was a Crip. So they used to go to the studio to have somewhere safe because he used to be scared for his life all the time. He wanted to give the life up so bad. And Dr. Dre wanted Laylaw to invest in him first. And that was the time that they was with the World Class Wrecking Crew. So they got these shiny jackets and they up there pop locking and all that. And they were like, that ain't gangsta enough for us, you know. But Eazy-E believed in him. You know what I mean? And he that's how they took off, you know? So it's just interesting to see how, like, trying to run in a different direction and trying to make new friends and all of that can sprout into something so beautiful. Like, you dudes change the world.
Amazing. I think that would probably be the most coolest thing that you found out about him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Is there another role that you would want to play, like another big role, like another, you know, famous person that you would want to play the role of?
She got some good questions, dude.
Yeah.
I'm learning so much that I didn't know.
Sure.
These are the ones I'm remembering. I got more though.
It's probably one or two people. Either Louis Armstrong or Floyd Mayweather.
Oh, Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, and I talked to Floyd and he was like, doing a movie about me makes me feel dead already. So I don't know. There might be some it might be some other lucky guy out there who ends up getting to do that way younger.
What would make you wanna? What intrigues you to want to play his role?
Floyd?
Yeah.
Because we were with him in Vegas one time, and my manager actually used to work for the Money Team, but we were in Vegas with him, and it was like getting close to 11. Right? We talking about PM. It's dark, everybody chilling, most of us been drinking, some people been smoking, like we vibing. We with Floyd Mayweather. And then like clockwork, you could just see everybody kind of start to get their shit together. Everybody, and then Floyd came out the room like, y'all ready? Everybody like, what? They went in the garage, got the bikes. Everybody jumped on bikes. Floyd started running. I'm talking about 11 p.m. at night. I'm like, what the hell is going on? He like, yeah, well, everybody else is going to sleep. Like, I fight mostly at this time because I'm last on the card. You know what I mean? So it's likely that I'll fight 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So while your body clock is telling you to go to sleep, I'm just not waking up. I'm just getting ready for it. And I'm like, damn. So to see that kind of work ethic, you know what I mean? Because everybody just look at what he's done. They look at the money, you know, they look at the record and all of that, but they don't see behind closed doors like this dude is getting it in on a whole different level. So that just, you know, it made me start to think on a different level. And I was like, you know what? I think that'll be the ultimate challenge for me to put myself in that kind of shape, to put myself in that mind frame. Yeah. You know, to be able to play
he's
for
different.
it.
You can tell he's a different species.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
So it would be definitely interesting to see, you know, a movie on him and see you play the role of Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah. I'd
Probably be a lot of girls involved too. I'm sure you like that part.
Well, you know, you can't necessarily, if it's facts, it's facts. You know, if we need to bring in the real thing, whatever happened, let's let that happen.
Right. Well, I have a lot more questions for you. Now
Okay.
I want to get into the stuff that I really like.
Okay.
So we're going to get into dating and relationships.
Ooh.
So I have a question for you. For you both.
Okay.
Okay, so please feel free to both of you guys chime in. So why do you guys feel it is so difficult for men to open up to women?
Oh, bro.
Take it easy on me, okay?
You think about it. I already know my answer.
Go for it.
Because it is used against you every single time.
What is it?
It's used against you every single time.
God, so many men say the same
Well, it's the
thing.
truth. Yeah, that's just how it goes.
Next time you want to kill your motherfucking self, don't call me. Like,
Yeah,
whoa,
and that's-
you gonna say that in front of fellas? That's wow.
Yeah, so as a man, you can't demasculate yourself in front of your girl because then you get dropped down a notch. You know, and then when something runs through her mind, he's like, well, he's not the man he used to be.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And unfortunately, I just went through it in divorce court, a 3-year-long divorce, $2 million divorce. So
Oh my God, I'm sorry to hear that.
it's pretty fresh on what I got going on. I mean, it's been a while, but you know, the same thing happened. You know, so.
And I think on top of that, we have become so programmed to not do it that we have a hard time like voicing it and putting it into words and really articulating exactly how we feel about a situation. You know what I mean? And God forbid it has something to do with being insecure or any of that. Like, I think we run from that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And it just doesn't feel right telling it to your girl, you know? But like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm in this place now where I feel like if I can't cry in front of you or you not willing to just be there for me during my hard times, like, I'm straight, because me putting my feelings aside has complicated my mental health. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad that we're doing what we're doing right now because it's allowing me to walk through the process myself, you know, and being able to put the mirror up for me and being able to look at what I have going on in my own life. And I just found out, like, I don't know, maybe a little over a month ago, that I don't even really know what a relationship consists of on every level. I really don't.
That's interesting. That's very honest of you.
Yeah.
Would you say that a reason why maybe, you know, men tend to suppress their feelings and that becomes it becomes hard for them to express their feelings because they've been suppressed? Do you feel like it may come from childhood, from the theory of boys don't cry?
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, you feel that?
100%. 100%. And I think that whole concept is crazy. You know what I mean? Because it's like, just like in the military, right? We was tripping out just talking about this. Like, I don't know if you ever been on the barracks.
Where?
The barracks, like
on base.
On base, like the military
base.
dorm
Oh, I
rooms.
have been on. Yes, I have.
You've
Right.
seen them in shows.
Yeah, but the grass is immaculate. Everything is super clean. You know, like if you even try to cut across the grass, you ain't gonna see the person, but you're gonna hear, "Get off the grass." You know what I mean?
Right.
But the grass is there for you to ground yourself. You're supposed to take them shoes off and ground yourself as many changes
like
as you
that.
get, because scientifically, your body needs that, right? But if you don't ground electricity, it has to find somewhere to go. You know what I mean? So if you're gonna plug something in, it's either gonna trip the breaker or it's gonna hit you. So imagine if you have somebody who's in the military, who's been trained as an administrator of war,
Right.
and then you never ground that person, and then you send them back into the world. What you think gonna happen?
Yeah. No.
You know? And it's the same thing with men. Like, they teach us early on. Like, I got a friend who I just argued with about taking his shoes off. He didn't want to take his shoes off and put his feet on. Man, you know, some white people shit, man.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Why you taking your shoes off outside, man? Come on. Like, you know, it's just,
Right.
it's a weird space as men to be in. Everything got to be tough and everything got to be over the top. But that's just, it's just not the truth.
No, yeah. At the end of the day, we're all humans. You know, both men and women, we're humans. We all cry. We all have emotions, and one shouldn't be suppressing their emotions, and the other one's allowed to, you know, express them freely. So,
Exactly.
you know, hopefully this whole, you know, project that you guys are working on can help these men not only transition to civilian life, but help them express themselves more so that they can heal, so they can come back to who they were originally.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's the
You know?
goal.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
So
exactly.
I think that we're out of time. So, but I really
so
want to.
fast.
I know it went by
Oh,
so
balls.
fast.
I was
would love
ready
to
for
have
these
you guys
questions,
come
man.
back,
I was like,
though.
she's got her phone out. Come on,
Right?
bring them on,
I know the hour, it goes by faster than,
It's
you
been
know.
an hour already?
bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
But we definitely want to have you guys back, you know, especially
we'll be back
when do you
for
guys
sure.
plan to get this going?
It's already started.
Oh yeah, we didn't even get over that. So are the first episode, I guess you would call it. It's not really an episode. The first.
It'll be
pilot?
premiering to the world. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, if
It'll
you
be
guys wanna go ahead
premiering
and
to
let
the
the-
world
let the
on the
world know.
19th of June. Go ahead and plug it in.
Oh, yeah.
Look right there at that
Yeah.
camera.
Right
and give
here.
it right to him.
So tune in to all of Jason's socials. You can follow everything, get updates from his socials. The premiere is going to be on the 19th of this month.
Yes, Lord.
We need everybody to go watch it.
Yes, Lord.
The viewership is what lets us fund the show to help our veterans out. So it is up to you to go to Jason Mitchell's Instagram page.
And we'll plug it right
And we'll
here
plug everything
somewhere.
on there.
Jason Mitchell, actor. You'll find Gene on my page. And yeah, we're going to give this to you guys as a gift from us to y'all. But like Gene said, man, we can't do it without y'all. All we need is a little bit of viewership, a little tiny bit of your time, Paquito Manutos.
Poquito.
Paquito Manutos.
You know, it's a little
I
time.
appreciate you guys so much for coming. I hope to have you guys back and let us know how it's going.
Yeah,
For sure,
right?
for sure.
Thank you guys so much for your time. Is there anything else you guys want to say to the camera before we go?
We love y'all.
That's a great
Yeah,
message.
we really appreciate the support.
We love you.
And thanks for having us on.
Yeah,
You're
for
very,
sure.
very, very
One quick question though. You
Sure.
say you're Cuban, right?
Yes, I am.
Oh boy.
Corey, you still
Where-
talking about eating Cuban?
Where we
food?
eating?
Can we? Right, we can go ahead and plug the restaurant
So
right quick.
I'll give you guys the good spots to go to. Don't worry.
All right, bet.
All right. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Bye-bye.
See you later.
All right, look. I say that to say this, right?
Men make moves.
Sucker stand still.
And 3 3.